Hi, my name is Shaquana, and I'm going to be interviewing a guy who has an amazing story. He was recently released from death row. He spent 30 of his years on death row because he was convicted of a crime that he did not do. And after 30 years, he was found innocent. Sir, can you please start off by saying your name and please speak clearly into the mic?
My name is Anthony Graves.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Graves. Now, can you tell us, like, a little bit more about yourself, please?
I was wrongfully convicted and sentenced to death in Texas back in 1992. Like all death row inmates, I was kept in solitary confinement.
Now, Mr. Graves, I know you said you were in death row, and I know we all might, especially myself, may not be able to imagine how you felt or how you made it. But can you give us a description so we can at least try to imagine the stuff that you went through and how it was?
I lived in a small 8 by 12 foot cage. I had a steel bunk bed with very thin plastic mattress and pillow that you could only trade out once a year. I have back problems as a result. I had a steel toilet and sink that were connected together, and it was positioned in the sight of male and female officers. Degrading.
Oh, I feel for you so much. I can't imagine going through the stuff you went through. Now, tell us about the food. How is the food in there?
The food lacks the proper nutrition because it's either dehydrated when served to you, or perhaps you'll find things like rat feces, a small piece of broken glass. When I was escorted to the infirmary one day, I was walking past where they fixed the food, and I watched the guy fix his food and was sweating in it. That was the food they was going to bring me.
Now, sir, in my paperwork, I've read that you said something about people committing suicides, and you've seen people committing suicides. Can you tell me a little more about that?
When guys were attempting suicide by cutting themselves, trying to tie a sheet around their necks, overdosing on their medication. Then that were the guys that actually committed suicide. I would have to live with these vivid memories for the rest of my life. I will watch guys come to prison totally sane, and in 3 years they don't live in the real world anymore. I know a guy who would sit in the middle of his floor, rip his sheet up, wrap it around himself, and light it on fire. Another guy who would go out on a recreation yard, get naked, lie down, and urine all over himself. He would take his feces and smear it on himself as though he was in combat. They ruled he was competent to be executed. I knew guys who dropped their appeals, not because they gave up hope on their legal claims, but because their conditions were just intolerable. They would rather die than continue to exist under such inhumane conditions. Solitary.
I'm sorry. I gotta keep it together. But this is so sad. I can't believe that. But my question for you is, do you think, like, it only affects you or just the inmates? Do you think it affects, like, the family, the society, or anything else?
This thing has a ripple effect. Okay? It don't just affect the inmate. It affects his family, his siblings, his children, and most importantly, it affects his mother. I have been free for almost 2 years, and I still cry at night.
I can't even imagine or even think of seeing something so cruel and unusual. That's not something you see on your everyday walk. But isn't that against the Eighth Amendment? no cruel or unusual punishment, but yet we still have the death penalty. Why is that? I don't know. But I figure it's cruel because the living arrangements, the way you're living, the beds, the food, and it's unusual because you just don't see people killing themselves on an everyday basis. Wouldn't you say the same?
Solitary confinement makes our criminal justice system criminal. Criminal. It is inhumane, and by its design, it's driving men insane. I am living amongst millions of people out here, but I still feel alone.
Anthony, I want to let you know personally, I cannot imagine half of the stuff that you've been through. And just the fact that you're here today expressing all that, you are strong. Oh, there's someone in the audience? I want to ask you a question. Yes, you, lady in the gray?
Oh no, I don't have a question. I just wanted Anthony Graves to know that everything that he said has deeply touched me, and I am here for you.
Well, you heard it here first. Anthony, you are a strong individual. You have fans that are deeply touched by your story. And I personally think that there should not be no more death penalty. It's cruel, unusual, and it's just plain overrated. But with all that being said, I wish you the best, and just know that you are not alone.
Gonna make a change for once in my life.
Why do we kill people who kill people to show killing people is wrong?